Hello and welcome to GBQ Solutions VDAT tool demonstration, the newest in terms of data frameworks on the market. I'm Greg Bornstein, the CEO, and I look forward to showing you what our tool can do. The VDAT is HIPAA compliant and it is a data automation tool. It can validate input files against single or multiple databases all at one time. It validates numerous file formats, be it EDI, delimited, keyword format, or fixed format files. It does efficient table-to-table validation from database to database or table to table. It's an easy solution for verification of database migration. So after you've migrated your database, you can very easily just push a button and verify all of your data has gone from one side to the other in a one-to-one comparison. You can generate comprehensive reports for management that show each individual passing and failing step, as well as the ability to file form or to filter on this data and get your details on how many test cases were run, how many were passed, how many failed, etc. Also, the unique ability of our data framework gives you the ability to organize verification activities so you can have all of your files and all of your data stored in a singular location for testing. It's great for validating large data sets and small data sets of all different file types, and you have it all at your fingertips. Now, the benefits go beyond just the tool itself. It's an automated tool, so if you were using manual before, you'll get the benefit of having automation of your data, and you can very quickly verify a huge data set at one time where you couldn't do so before. It's efficient and scalable. It can be used with tools like Jenkins and Circle CI for CI/CD or continuous integration, continuous development, where you can continually put files through your software development process and verify that everything is in the appropriate place and it all works as designed. So you're going to get increased data accuracy. You're going to get time and cost savings based on the amount of work that's done in terms of data verification in large files or coverage. You're going to have improved compliance and risk mitigation in the sense that when it comes to HIPAA compliance and other compliance tasks, you'll be able to verify and show auditors that you've verified this information, and you should have less defects in your products. You should also be able to see when things don't match up so you can mitigate them. You'll have better decision-making strategies through this, and you'll be able to streamline your operations because you'll have organized all of your data and you can run it with CI/CD tools such as Jenkins or Circle CI. And finally, with all of this comes increased customer satisfaction and scalability, where it can handle growth of your needs in terms of your database migrations if you do them in the future. And you'll also be able to handle larger data sets and verify them quickly with numerous different files that are available through our library of canned layouts that are available for the tool to begin with. So let me show you a quick demonstration of the tool. The validator can be used for file governance, and as you can see, we have a validator here. You can create mappings, and I'll explain what that is in just a moment. Edit mappings, you can edit the runner, you can check your database, you can run the tool itself. And I will get into all of this in just a moment, but what I want to show everybody first is a report from the tool itself. This is what our report looks like, and it will tell you when something failed. You can see it has individual failures, and on the left-hand side, LHS stands for left-hand side, is the file. On the right-hand side is your database in this case. Or it could be comparing against another file, so the right-hand side could also be another file that you're verifying against. But in this case, it's a database because you can actually see the query here. And you can see that these two values do not match, and therefore it fails. So it will show you all of your failures in your file, and you can see from all of these that, it'll show you the query that's done. it will show you what's in the file and it will show you what's in the database. So I can go through all these different failures, and then I can go to the top here of my report and I can look at all the passing records. And each of these test cases actually passed, and you can see the query, you can see the values matching up from the file and the database in this case. So if I want to see the whole thing all together, you just clear the filters and you can see everything that was run when the run was done. So you have all of the passes and the fails as I go through here. There are some of the failures. Here's your passing marks, etc. So this is the benefit of the tool, in that it gives you a one-to-one comparison of each individual piece of a file, a standardized file, and compares it to a database for one-to-one comparison, guaranteeing that you will in fact see the data in the database versus what's in that file, and know that you're getting verified data back and your data is clean when you're done. So I'm going to go show you now how to use the tool. Our validator, to start off, if I hit proceed here, gives you this screen. And the first thing you do is choose one of our canned layouts. In this case, we'll go to our desktop folder because I know they're here, and look in the sample files. And 837s are healthcare claims. So I'm going to use a healthcare 837i layout, which if I choose that, you'll see it will load the tokens for an 837i layout, which it has the ISA fields, it has the GS fields, the ST fields, the BHT, NM1, and the also important CLM fields, which contain the claim ID, etc. So I'm going to take these and I am going to select all these tokens from the available tokens so that I can see what's in this file and verify that it does in fact go into the proper places. This can be utilized for file governance, and you can actually run this through something like Jenkins or Circle CI to evaluate files as they come in against these layouts. So if I choose a sample file here, and I'll go to the desktop, I'll go look in that same sample file directory and look at the 837 delimited file here, and look at and choose the sample file. You see it actually chooses a sample file here, sample files.txt. And if I hit validate, you can see it pulled up all of the data immediately into the 837i. This is the first iteration, and it's actually the only iteration in this particular file. But you can see it says for this token you have ISA, for this token here you have 00, etc. And just to show you that it actually is based off a file, here is sample-files here, which is the same file that I just ran earlier. And you see the ISA matches up with ISA, 00 matches up with 00. I have nothing in the next 02 here. In the 03 spot I have 00, etc. And you can go look through, and it actually does pull in all of the details. Now, the beauty of this is also the fact that I can choose which iteration I want to look at. I can choose the particular field I want to look at. So if I only want to pull back data, say, from the CLM field, which the CLM01 is actually your claim ID, and I hit apply, it will only bring back that one field from that particular iteration that you choose. You can also use regular expressions to get further and deeper in terms of search of data that you may be searching for with that particular field. With that said, that is how our validator works, and it shows you the data being pulled from the file itself. So I'm going to go back home here. I'm going to skip create mapping only because when you create a mapping, you're starting from scratch, and I prefer to start with something already there for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to hit edit mapping, and I'm going to hit proceed. Now you have the option to choose either file to file, or you can choose file to database. When you choose file to database, you're creating a mapping from a file to a database. And if I just show you an existing one here, you can see when I open this up, I have on my left side all of those particular tokens that you saw in the validator earlier. So I can scroll down further and you can see they really are all there, including your 2300, etc. You can put them in there and you can run with them. But then you have your database fields that you're pulling with these values. So this value I'm setting, the ISA02 value here, as you can see, to this query. So I run this query every time I have this value. Now, we have search tokens and things that run real time and pull data from the file so that you can get those beautiful reports at the end and you can automate this. But the gist of this is that you have the ability to map from the file itself, the specific fields, to the database. You also have the ability to map the same field multiple times. So say you have multiple databases, you can actually choose the database that the data gets mapped to. So you can have it mapped to provider databases, to patient databases, to insurance databases, etc. in terms of healthcare. It could be anything. But I'm going to go ahead and go back home now that I've shown you how to create the edit mapping here. And if I wanted to set up numerous databases, I can hit proceed on check database. And I can put in a new database, adding the database, the host, the port, etc. Now this supports Oracle, Sybase, SQL Server, Postgres, MySQL, DB2, and many other databases. And if it's not there for you, we at GBQ will be happy to add a new database connection that will allow you to connect to your database and use whatever data that you need. Finally, to run the tool, you go to Run VDAT, hit Proceed, and you simply choose whether you want to run a file to database transaction. The data worksheet, you choose the mapping document that you're working with. In this case, I'll choose that 837 file that I had shown earlier when editing. You choose your database connection. Now note, if you don't choose a database connection, it'll run off the sheet, the mapping document. So if you have multiple databases, you just leave this blank and it'll run directly from the mapping document. You put in the number of iterations, which in our case is 1. You choose the sample file that you're running against. So you can choose any 837 to compare against your database. In this case, I know that this sample file, 837 fix file here, this one, is actually in our database. So when I hit run, this is what happens. It'll process real quick, and then it'll show you all of the individual fields that were run. And at the bottom, it gives you a compilation of the number of iterations run, the total number of test cases that were either passed or failed, and the total number of test cases, and the duration that it took to run the file. Finally, if I click on this link here to the text file, it gives you a better view of what passed and failed. And we always will run with text first, because when you get larger files, it takes a long time to open up an HTML file when you have a lot of data. But if you keep it text, this will immediately open. However, we have it configured right now to run the associated data, and you can see the pass fails here. I believe there are some failures in here too to show off. So I see you have a failure here, and you can see that the file does not equal the database. Finally, to go back to what I showed you from the beginning, this is your final output from what you'll get when it comes to an HTML report, this beautiful look and feel. So I hope you've enjoyed my demo. There's far more we can do with the tool with using CI/CD, your Jenkins hookup, your Circle CI hookup, and it will be great for if you want to do one-to-one verification. And I hope you come back to see all of our demos and work with us in the future. Thank you so very much, and have a wonderful day.